Hello again! We are back with another episode of Park Hyatt at Home, aka the Super Chef Dad Chronicles. For this week, we are doing another special request, this time from Christine in Astoria, Queens, who asked us to share a recipe for paella. Zoe, did you know that for today's episode we're making paella?
No!
Everybody loves a delicious sweet paella.
Never say that word again!
Normally paella is made with bomba or calaspara rice. They're really hard, medium grain rice that are gonna stay intact during the cooking. But if you can't find that, I'm using carnaroli. It's an Italian rice, short grain, but again, it's gonna have a little more tooth. It's not gonna release as much starch as opposed to like an arborio, which will give you a creamier result. If you can only find arborio, that's fine. If you can only find Uncle Ben's, it's fine. Right? The whole reason that I do this show is to demystify the process. I understand if you don't have an endless time to go shopping and seek out hard to find ingredients, it's fine. I'm going to show you how to do it because at the end of the day, you're cooking for your family and you should enjoy it and not get stressed out. All right? Sun-dried tomatoes. You know what I put in there?
Tomatoes!
You know what I put in? Now, another typical ingredient for paella is añora chilies. These are dried Spanish chili. Very hard to find here in the States, though I'm sure you could order them online. Instead, we're going to use Mexican chilies, which you could find in your supermarket, but ancho is just fine. Soak them in boiling hot water for 15 minutes until they're pliable, then remove the seeds and stems and scrape the flesh away from the skin. A very important part of a good paella is called the salmorra, or the sofrito. Onions and peppers, maybe chorizo, smoked paprika, and dried chilies cooked down over a long time so it caramelizes and gets sweet and complex. Now again, to speed up this process, but you don't have to do this, I cooked a little bit ahead of time. I have chicken thigh, boneless chicken thigh, that I marinated and broiled, right? Sheet pan chicken, double layer foil, no extra cleanup. And then to save some time, I'm using canned seafood. I know it sounds a little weird. I'm still using some fresh seafood here, don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to save some time and space in your refrigerator. If you use fresh clams and mussels, I'll add a note later on about when to add them to your paella. Look for products that were made in Spain or Portugal. I think they're the best. I'm using, it says jumbo calamari, but it's cuttlefish, right, or sepia. You could also use cooked octopus, is very easy to find in the supermarket. Langoustines, or scampi prawns, as they're sometimes called, but they're not really a shrimp. It's almost like a little baby lobster. And then I have our cuttlefish, our smoked oysters, and some raw shrimp that we'll lay in over the top. I'm using chicken stock. Don't worry about making fancy fish stock. You don't need it. All you have to do is add a big pinch of saffron to your stock when you're heating it up. I think that's enough background now, and we'll be ready to make our paella. For 2 people, I have here a cup of the carnaroli rice, half cup salmorra. Into here we're gonna add 2.5 cups our saffron chicken stock. The rest of it we're gonna keep on the heat. We want the stock to be very hot if we have to add more liquid to the paella while it's cooking. Our chicken, a little bit more paprika. All right. We're also gonna add our cuttlefish. Let's taste. You don't want to stir it too much. We're gonna sprinkle in the rice. Simply just shake the pan. Bring it back to a full boil, then we'll let it simmer for 10 to 12 minutes. When you're cooking paella, whether it's on an electric stove like mine or a gas range, we don't want to stir it. We're going to move the pan around to make sure that it's heating evenly. We're about 3/4 of the way through cooking. Now we're going to finish our paella. So I have a little more pepper, make it look pretty. A couple of our oysters, beautiful shrimp, langoustines. Just nestle them in there. See that? Just let it go. It's also important to occasionally give a check. Make sure nothing's burning on the bottom. If you're not stirring, just give a look. You want a little bit of that crispy crust. The socarrat on the bottom, but there's a fine line between brown and crispy and burnt. When your paella is done and the rice is 99.9% tender, you You could cover it with a clean dish towel or the lid from the pan, and then you want to let it rest. Steam and finish cooking for another 5 minutes. Okay. Drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, freshly chopped parsley. I like to add a little green onions. This is my ode to jambalaya. And there you go. Zoe, you did a great job. I know we couldn't cook paella all day. It's okay. There's no reason to be sad. But now it's done and it's time to eat. Give peas a chance. I gave her peas. This is what happens. Anyway. I'm telling you, it's just paella. It's no reason to cry. So, Christina and Astoria, let me know how it goes. I hope you enjoy it. And for all the rest of you out home, stay sane, one day at a time. Let's take a deep breath and happy cooking. I'll see you next week.